If you have big dreams and goals, you don't only need a lot of ambition, you need systems, structure, and boundaries. Very, very important. So, today I want to talk to you about that exactly, about limiting yourself, especially if you have big dreams and goals. So, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Joana Fatondji. This is Healing into Holiness. I am a certified life coach. My background is in international business, nutrition, project management, and currently I have created a signature program that helps you to start with the beginning, and that is you with your personal brand. And the program that I've created is called the Original Method, which combines a holistic approach so you can position yourself. And when I'm speaking about positioning, I'm not speaking about a niche or a definite offer, even though that results from that, but it also creates a point inside a context for you. So, what I mean by that, and I always like to do some storytelling so you know where I come from and how and why I created this methodology. So, I always like to say I am multicultural because my mom is German, my dad is Ghanaian. I grew up between and in both cultures. I was born in Germany and then I went to Ghana when I was 3. I stayed until I was 6. So my formative years really were influenced by being fully immersed in both cultures. I came back when I was 6 and I stayed in Germany for most of my life. So now I'm 36, but I have traveled, I have studied abroad, I have traveled a lot, not only for leisure, but also for business. And I really consider myself a multicultural global citizen. So, as I said, multicultural, but also multi passionate and multi skilled because I've gained all of these degrees and these certifications. And for me, the biggest challenge has always been to position myself, right? Just yesterday, a friend of mine told me that I should position myself. Who am I really here for to help? And that is the answer. I am here to help multicultural. And even if you are monocultural by blood, you can still be multicultural if you grew up maybe in the diaspora. Maybe you are, let's say, fully German and you grew up in Africa, or you are Lebanese. I know a few people, like I've met a lot of people. If you're Lebanese and you grew up in Congo, or if you are Swedish and you grew up in Singapore, I still, if you immerse yourself in the culture, I still consider that being multicultural. Then you're being multi passionate, meaning you're interested in different topics and subjects and in different areas of life. I believe, isn't that everybody? And then multi-skilled, meaning you have different skill set, also probably from different even areas of life. As me, as I said, I have a degree, a bachelor's degree in international business, but I'm also a certified holistic nutritionist and a certified life coach. So I am bringing all of my knowledge together. And how did I create a method for me to really feel like I'm well positioned now? And I want to take you through this. So stay with me, all right? So in the original method, I center all of you, right? But with structure. And this is what I want to talk about today. If you are this big person, this big, not only personality, but everything I just mentioned, like your life is big, your mind is big, your universe is big, your cultural affluence is big. Yeah, that's the kind of person that I'm speaking to. I believe that a struggle that we all have is to systematize things. So, again, taking you through the original method, but stay with me. I have a little bit more to say for today's topic on systems and structures, just some general understanding and philosophy. But now we start with the practical thing. So, the original method has 4 phases. The first phase is you are a star. You are the main character. It is all about you. And it's all about you, meaning I personally am a spiritual woman. So I do use spiritual technology in order to give myself, again, a structure, a frame. The frame is never to limit yourself, but it's actually to harness what is truly the potential of you. Stay with me, all right? So I use astrology, human design, and gene keys. Okay, so it gives you an outline, a map of your soul's blueprint. Sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, all of the signs, there is a whole science behind that also for you to find out what is truly the skill that you should be making money with. What should your daily life look like? And what is your purpose and your career and your like public facing, career facing direction? All of that is inside your astrology chart. Yeah. Again, it's for structure, not for you to see it as a dogma. That's the first thing that we start with. Okay, the soul's design. Then we start with your human experience, your childhood, your formative years. And I always like to say this is where the ancestral pattern comes in, right? We have the soul print, but then we also have the human DNA print, the ancestral line, your parents, your mother, your father, where you were born, the culture you were born in. If you're like me, multicultural, bicultural, you already have a story, a foundational story that probably already came with a set of skills and a set of struggles and challenges. And if you've overcome them, there is so much potential for you to storytell, to build a personal brand around, and even to identify skills that probably not everybody has. Also, a little piece of my story here is I know, and there are many different communities out there, and I'm so happy that they exist, where mixed people, especially mixed people, right, coming from two ethnicities, are struggling because they have never fit in, not in this world, not for my example, not in the white German world, and not fully also in the Ghanaian black world. So I was always an outsider in both cultures, even though I had the privilege of actually being fully immersed. And that is a unique story already. I know that, right? Because some people maybe just grew up in one of the countries. I grew up in both. I was inside, like really immersed in it. I I soaked up not only the language but the environment, right? There's a saying in personal development, in human evolution, is that you best learn being immersed in something, right? You don't learn it by studying it or compartmentalizing the study, but actually experiencing the whole thing all at once, right? The weather, the clothing, the music, the food, the religion, like all of it at the same time, right? That is being fully immersed in a culture. All right, that was my personal example. Being mixed and the struggles is about identity. It's about where do I belong? And also for me, I feel like I've mastered it because I have learned to fully embrace my individuality, right? And this is also where my spiritual part, I believe, has had the opportunity to really, really, really be formed, because I always had to form an identity for myself because I couldn't hide in a group of people. I couldn't just attach myself to a group of people without thinking critically if this is where I want to belong, if you get it, right? So this is also for you, back to you, the formative years. So we will look at the formative years and how they shaped you. So for example, for me, for a long time, I didn't know where to position myself. That's why I'm so passionate about this amazing signature program that I created, because just extricating from my own story is really the most important perspective that I can give. And it definitely is always about the cultural perspective, who you are, where you come from. Being multicultural, it is so valuable to the marketplace. Okay, I'm going through the 4 phases of the original method just very briefly so you understand how much it can help you. Again, if you are a multicultural, multi-skilled, professional woman in the marketplace that is now looking how to maximize your story, your expertise, your cultural awareness, and offer it to the marketplace. Okay. What lights you up? What are you passionate about? Right? And I'm not necessarily speaking about hobbies because this is now really something where I know I have crystallized it for myself, speaking about a skill or a topic that can be applied to the professional market. And it can be everything, okay? Don't get me wrong. I think this is not so easy to niche down because even astrology is used as a, let's call it, personal development tool, right? And you have to know yourself in order to excel in business and in life. Yeah. So I'm not necessarily speaking about if you're a highly intellectual woman, if you're intellectual, if you're skilled, if you're educated, if you're systems aware. I tried it. That's why, again, don't take this too seriously if it doesn't apply. But for example, I knew that I love dancing. I danced for a while again. Like I've always loved dancing, like professionally as well, but I don't want to make dancing my whole career. I want to share my brain. I want to share my expertise, my skills, my point of view, my knowledge, my view on the world. And so should you. That's my suggestion. Yeah. And then from that, let's extricate your personal beliefs, right? What you believe in, your value system, beliefs and values, and what your brand mission would be just from your story, right? Your energetic, astrological, soul's blueprint, your personal story from your childhood, your youth, and then your later years going to university and studying whatever it is that you studied, right? Even if it's not exactly what you want to do, it is a skill that you can use, okay? Bringing all of that together, that's what the method is about. And the next phase is also another layer, not only to understand the world. I say that this phase is called the water that we swim in. This is about systems awareness. It's about cultural awareness. It's about power dynamics. It's about hierarchy. It's about the matrix, right? The matrix in real terms, which is capitalism. I always say capitalism is imperialistic colonial capitalism based on extraction. Understanding that framework, just knowing, okay, that's a force that we are playing with. The same thing goes with patriarchy. Patriarchy, very short and briefly, means that men are more favored to gain positions of money and power in the system just by biology, basically by biology. That's it. Like very, very simplified. All right. And then the last one is racism. Let's be real. I'm a brown woman. I'm a black woman. I'm a woman of the global majority. I'm a multicultural woman. Yes, we have to be aware of that. Very, very important. Very briefly, all right? That is part of the second phase. Then the next layer is about your parents, because again, this system of capitalism, patriarchy, and racism has also indoctrinated your parents, and not only your parents, but an entire lineage, right? 7 generations back, let's say that. For me personally, it is 7 generations back on the Ghanaian side and 7 generations back on a German side. My mother is a woman, so that comes with the conditioning of a woman being lesser than, maybe her mind is not as valuable, maybe she doesn't value herself, her opinion, her workforce even, because that is what patriarchy tries to tell us as women, right? This is what I had to purge from my mother's side. This is what you get to purge from your mother's side. Then I had the blackness in my father's side, to be very blunt, right? And maybe even like making up for generational poverty, right? And really that gaining power in the world, in the system as a black colored person. This is what I had to purge from my father's side. So I had to do a feminine purge and I had to do a masculine purge, a white purge and a black purge, right? So that is the same for you, really breaking generational curses. And that's what we're doing in this method. It's all going to be a framework, a tool for you to get to the most authentic version of your power. And the last version is the purge, literally. That is the last version where I provide you with all of the tools, all of the embodiment tools, all of the journaling, all of the magic, all of the dancing, the sounding, the crying, the releasing, the meditation, the prayer, the breath work, right? The sound, the movement, the nourishment to really purge out the old and to invite a new, clearer pipe, a channel. I always like to say you are a channel and we have to clear the pipe so your most authentic brilliance can come through. All right, understood? Good. Third phase. Third phase is emerging as your refined self and really crystallizing again. We started in phase one. You went on with a personal brand mission and you're like, okay, let me go into this world with this brand mission. Then phase two gave you a little reality check that this is actually the forces that you have to be aware of. Yeah. And then I'm very sure that when you come back out, it's going to be more refined in terms of, okay, even though I have a dream, it is very rooted in reality, not bogged down. That's what we did in the purge. Like we released the ancestral patterns, but we have to be aware that other people are still carrying those conditionings and that we have to change. If we want to change something, our clients and the world, the system, whatever it is that you bring to the collective with your offer, because in phase three, it's all about you truly creating, again, who you are, the identity, the fortified, the crystallized identity. Then your why, again, very clear, your mission. Then your what. What are you offering? What are you offering? And trust me, until that point, you will be clearer, like through this process. What are you offering? Where are you offering it? And I suggest that you definitely create a digital platform as well. And to who are you giving it to? Who are you serving? Who is your ideal client? Who is your audience? Who is your collective? Who are the people that you're talking to? We're also going to clarify that, okay? Good. Then we move on to the last and the fourth phase, and this is literally setting up shop on the digital marketplace. I always say, imagine creating a YouTube channel, see that as your real estate, even your property, your land, your 40 acres. Even though I'm not American, right? I think it's a well-known collective symbol. This is your 40 acres. This is your marketplace shop, right? I always like to see the marketplace analogy. Imagine you have like your little shop on a marketplace, your little stand. You have to buy it, right? You have to rent it out so you can be there, be seen, be heard. Your goods and your services and your products need to be exposed to the world. That is business. That is the most human, natural, ancient way of creating exchange. And this is where I always say, especially for my Black and brown people, right, who associate business and wanting to make a lot of money with capitalism. No, capitalism's paradigm here is extraction, and business is based on an equal value exchange. So if you are of integrity and you know that what you offer somebody creates even probably more value than the money they give you, that is business. Okay, so business is good, money is good, making a lot of money is good, making millions and more is good while you are serving and uplifting your community. That is the way it's supposed to be, and this is where we are. if you are down with the new earth, with the digital economy. All right. So you set up your little market stand on your digital platform. That's what we're going to do together. Then you're going to create a community space where people can actually go deeper with you, where you host your courses, your workshops, your your masterminds, your library of knowledge, where you host your true transformational spaces, where you welcome your community so they can actually do the work. This, even though it has value, this is not the work. A layer deeper inside the community spaces where people can download your things. And this is where I come to the next layer of the last phase, is deciding on your offers, right? Really deciding on the specificity of your offers, meaning, is it going to be PDFs? Are you going to create workbooks? Are you going to create a book? Are you going to create a course, a self-led course? Or are you going to create a real coaching course? Like that is for me coaching. I experienced coaching the first time I got in contact with it. It was a hybrid method. It was audios, it was a workbook, and we had weekly live coaching calls. That's also how I conduct my premium courses, like with knowledge that you listen to in your personal time, then the workbook where you get to excavate your clarity, and then you have access to me so we can speak in the group setting about your questions, whatever you need coaching on, and to create community, right? To really see that many people are going through the same thing, and then listening to other people asking the same question. We're all in this together. All right. So this is the structure that I created for me as, again, as a multicultural, multi-passionate, multi-skilled professional woman who knows that she has a lot to offer, but it has to be framed. It had to be framed. It had to be systematized. It had to be structured. And that is exactly the topic of the day, right? Under the Capricorn full moon. And now I want to give you a little bit more information, or not only information. Everything that I give you shouldn't be information. It should be activation. It should be, okay, now go and do something. And the best thing you could do is get yourself into the original method and let's work. Okay, so that's what I would love you to do. And also, I want to give you a little bit more about the Capricorn full moon, what's actually going on here. As I said, I feel like the Capricorn full moon is really aligned with the second phase of my program. As I said, it's the water that we swim in, because the systems of power and power dynamics that have been in place for so long, capitalism, patriarchy, and racism, indoctrinated into our parents, have created something for us. And this is where we find our limitations, maybe our poverty contracts, right? Because our family was poor. Maybe we also like think that making money is bad on a deep subconscious level, or being visible is dangerous, or being judged is dangerous, or speaking up is dangerous, or yeah, speaking your mind is dangerous, right? Or like all of the things around visibility, speaking up, being seen, being heard, wanting to be valued, wanting to be paid, wanting to be compensated for the value that you now know that you hold. All of that gets to be released under this Capricorn full moon. And at the same time, it's about creating new structures. As I just said, that's why it's a perfect time to get into the original method. It's about creating new structures for you. And I really believe that the best first structure for this highly complex, big head, multiple skills, multiple cultures, the story that is ingrained in all of it, that the kind of person that you are, that I am, needs this personal brand structure to find yourself inside a context that is true, that is relevant, without being lofty, without being disconnected from the true world, and at the same time being liberated from the shackles of the limitations, right? Let's get a little spiritual again. It's to be in this world, but not of it. But to be in this world, you have to know what this world is actually about and the forces that work or have been working against us until we release them, right? So this is literally the topic of this Capricorn full moon. So creating structures, creating budgets, or let's even say creating pathways. Budgets are good, but I want you to see it like pathways, energetic pockets, energetic pathways where you want to invest your time, your energy, your resources into the people, the places, the things. And one thing about me as a Cancer, what I know, what I have personally experienced a lot is people not reciprocating the same amount of love, of energy, of care, of mental capacity, mental stimulation, awareness, intelligence, knowledge, strategy back into me as I do in them. That's exhausting. And we cut that here now. If you see that people, places, and things are not reciprocating you, are not filling up your cup while you are giving to it, to them, then it's time to cut it off, right? So new structures means evaluating what is nourishing you right now and then creating the structures where you can pour into, but also again with the hope and with the strategy of building a compounding effect, right? Where you invest, 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 and you know that it will give back returns on investment, right? Where you know you're building towards something. It doesn't have to be tomorrow, it doesn't have to be next week, but where you know that this is actually accumulating. This is building up. This is going to create your body of work. It's going to create your library of work. It's going to create the community or whatever it is for you. All right. So that's it. I want you to let me know what you're taking away. And I also want you to really know what is it that you are needing? What is it that you are asking for? Right? What is it that you feel that your environment is not reciprocating? What do you need? What does your body need? What kind of environment do you need? For me, I know I have to move. I have to leave this space because I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for something bigger. I'm ready for something more serene. Yes, I need that, right? So what do you need in order to create the structure, the support system around you, your body, your environment, the people, the work? What creates this reciprocal energy flow, right? And that comes again with the right evaluation of the structures that you have right now. All right, so that's it for now. Want to cut it off. I would love to hear from you. Comment down below if you're ready to step into the original method. You find the link in the description box down below. And until then, remember, you are a force of nature, and I want to see you act like it.